Today I'm going to be giving you a quick overview of the seasonal dragons for the Winterjol season. Now, I don't own any of these dragons, I've not flown them, I'm just going by their spell kits. So take this with a pinch of salt. I'm fairly confident in what I'm saying, but again, maybe there's some phenomenal flyers that will show me differently. But let's have a little look at them. Now, Gunner. I'll preface this with I'm biased. I love hunters. I think they are quite simply the single most viable class by far. There are very, very, very few sorcerers or warriors that, outside of just raw stats, can match good hunters. So take this with a pinch of salt. But Gunner. First spell, Snowblind. 2 Rage White spell. Now, this is his bread and butter spell. This is phenomenal. This is insanely powerful. This spell increases the fireball damage, that's your standard attacks, by 150% and freezes buildings hit for 3.5 seconds. Now, think of this dragon as a cross between Avix, Ibreen, and Axii. He takes the best parts of those dragons, merges them into one, and you've got this dragon. So this is Axii's freeze attached to your standard attacks, which means that your standard attacks can cancel mage shots. Your standard attacks can cancel fire turret shots. Can cancel the probably not the fire flak one, depending on how that interaction works, but the death explosion, I mean. But it's phenomenal. You can turn off the towers, giving you all the time in the world to focus what you want. You can only turn off the ones that are a threat. You can use it for damage. It's a phenomenal spell. It's probably a little bit overpowered, I'll be perfectly honest, but hey, I'll take it at this point. Cloak. Blue's cloak. It's not the white one like Prospero's. Now, don't think of that as worse. 1, it's cheaper. 2, blue cloak can be reset. White cloak cannot. Now, what I mean by reset is if a blue mage cancels your cloak, it resets the cooldown. So the moment that blue mage is gone, you can use it immediately. You don't have a cooldown. White cloak does not have that. This gives you lots of room to play around and use blinking and things like that. It's a phenomenal spell. So don't think it's worse because it's not white. In fact, blue cloak is probably better if you're good at it. White cloak is a very simple, use it whenever you want. If good flyers will make use of blue cloak. Hunter's Mark, it is Ibreen Spring Renewal. There might be some differences in the HP regained, but frankly, I don't know the stats that well. It's a good spell. You can cast it on monuments, towers. Monuments you can cast in the standard game, not in Atlas. Don't ask me why. I've been asking that question for ages. Ice Flak Resist doesn't make or break it. Couldn't really have any other flak resist without making the dragon potentially too strong. And it makes sense considering he's the Ice Hunter. So, all in all, if you're not sure what to get, he's discounted. He's gonna be strong. I would strongly recommend this dragon. If you're gonna get him within the first 2 weeks. If you don't get him in the first 2 weeks, I'd suggest wait until all the dragons are open so you can make a choice, unless you really need the items. Now, I'm not going to look at the portraits because frankly I don't care. Runes and glyphs increases healing mark, healing, and hunter attack at the mythic level. It's alright. Now, Drahildir, the Draconic Valkyrie. This is the sorcerer. Now, I'm going to describe this dragon as a stat check. This dragon is very much are my stats high enough to beat this base before my freeze ends? If yes, I win. If no, I die. There isn't any way this dragon can outplay. It doesn't have a cloak. It doesn't have a on-demand freeze. It doesn't have any disables that last or anything like that. it doesn't have the damage to DPS things down. Now, I'll run through why I think that in a minute, but let's run through the spells. So, Spear Salvo, 1 Rage, red spell. Think of this as a... if last season's Somnus was a shotgun, this thing's more of a sniper, the Soul Barrage. Soul Barrage last season fired 5 of these things. This one fires 3. These ones do a little bit more damage if I remember rightly. Apart from that, function's very similar. Just remember, it's red. That's quite important. Now, Static Blast. 2 Rage, freezes buildings for its 3.5 seconds. They have changed it. It's at the bottom, I'll show you later. Deals 8% of the dragon's HP and has a 6-second cooldown. This spell is what is going to allow you to cancel mage shots, because if you see those mage shots in the air, you can fire this spell and cancel them, and it actually wastes the defender's super shots. But this is the only thing keeping you alive. If this stun ends and you have not killed the mages or the storm tower, you are dead. It's literally that simple. If you can't stop firing off the Spear Salvo, you are dead, because the towers are just going to wail on you. You're going to have no rage because you're going to get rage drained, and it's going to be a bad time, which is why defenders will kill this dragon, because you stun them, and then the only thing you have that does damage is your guardian and your swipe attacks. And if you're fighting anything anywhere near your level, hammers are going to smash it to pieces. Spiritual Guardian, this actually does more damage than this. It's 2.75% of the dragon's base health, 500% of the dragon's base HP, and will absorb 40% of all incoming damage, and increases 30% of rage generation. It's a stronger Guardian. So Equester, it's stronger than Equester, it's stronger than Canaris. It's a good summon, but it means this dragon can never follow a sanded base. This dragon, it's reliant on this targeting what you want, and I know there's a programmed, it picks this tower, then this tower, then this tower. I don't know it off the top of my head. I know mages take priority and storm towers do. I don't know specifically the order. Dark Flak Resist, it's decent. It's going to stop it getting one shot by a Dark Flak, but with Fire Flaks and Storm, Electro Flaks, it's kind of redundant. Now, this dragon, I like it in theory, but in practice I know how this is going to go. It against a viable, strong base that is defended, unless you can beat that kill island, the mages and the storm, but while Static Blast is still keeping towers frozen, you've lost, because then the tower's going to wail on you, and you're not going to be able to use your Spear Salvo, and you're going to be relying on your Guardian and your swipe attacks. If you're hitting below your level or experience bases, you're going to be fine. It's just going to be one of those dragons that is going to be a fun dragon. It's not going to be a viable one at higher levels. Even the runes, it specialises so heavily on the Spear Salvo that unless you are able to actually brute force this to go off, like be able to brute force you to be able to use the Spear Salvo, you're gonna struggle so badly. But it honestly looks fun. Erdverd Skald, or however you pronounce it. This is a mythic warrior. Now, I feel like this is a stat check. I feel like this has got more ways to outplay, but I feel like it's another stat check, in that if this thing cannot kill the towers and can't outdamage the healing done by hammers, you have lost, quite simply. It's got a very high ceiling. Sorry, not very high ceiling. It's got a ceiling in that anything beyond that damage threshold, you simply can't beat. It just has no way to outplay that. But that said, anything that's within its threshold, it can outplay. It's got Rampage, which is a 2 Rage White spell. Gains increased damage 100%, rage generation increased by 50%, which is very good, and will heal by 20% of its base health per tower destroyed, 4.5 second duration, and a 10-second cooldown. Very strong spell. We've seen it on a couple of dragons now. It's good. It is very good. Time Stop. This is it deals 15% of the dragon's base health and freezes towers hit by 5 seconds. Decent spell, but again, relies on the red mage being destroyed. Alter Fate. This is the fun part. Now, after 1 second, the dragon will teleport forward and gain a shield for 40% of its max health that lasts for 15 seconds. The shield lasts for 15 seconds. That's obscene in itself. That's not all. The dragon can then recast this within 15 seconds to return to the pre-teleport position and gain another shield for 40% of its max health that lasts for 10 seconds and has a 10-second cooldown. Funny that. So that means this dragon can essentially permanently keep up a shield if it in the right circumstances. Don't get me wrong, it's probably never going to do that unless you are hitting a level 5 and you're level 500. But I digress. Now, with this spell, you can dodge super shots. Let's say you're turning a corner, you're flying around the corner, and you think, there's defenders. They're going to throw super shots. You can time this so that the super shots go off, and as they're flying towards you, you teleport past the island and start wailing on the next one. All the hammers and all the swords and shields they've thrown on the first island, they're useless. You then force them to start defending a completely separate area. That's cool. They've then got to start doing that. And you can choose at any point to go, you know what, I've had enough fun of this. Bye, I'm back to the original island. You head back there, and you're forcing the defenders to throw super shots left, right, and centre, because you can recast this, from the looks of it, without that 1 second delay. So on the second jump forward, if they start throwing super shots there, and you see them start coming towards you, you blink straight back to where you were before, and it's going to be a pain in the neck to defend against. It really will be a pain in the neck to defend against. It has a damage steroid, which warriors need to be viable, or a one-shot. It has sustain, it has a shield, and it has a stun. The only thing that's going to beat this warrior is if you just simply don't have the damage to take towers out. So let's say you fly into an island and you just simply don't have the damage to outdo hammers, or you only take out 1 or 2 towers. That is the thing that's going to kill you. If this dragon gets rage drained, which you shouldn't with 2 teleports, you really shouldn't, and a stun. If you get rage drained on this dragon, you're going to struggle. You're really going to struggle, because then you're just running on raw attack power. And that's where it's going to be difficult to come back. He is good. He's a very good warrior. He's not Cavalierous in that he's situationally good. As long as you're not hitting miles above your level, you are going to be fine. Against equal level stuff, he's very safe because he's got a dodge, a shield, a stun, and a damage steroid, and a heal, and elemental resist, because why wouldn't he take 50% less damage from the most damaging towers in the game? Why wouldn't that be a thing? He's gonna be phenomenal. I think high skill cap, which I never thought I'd say about a warrior, but he has a ceiling. It's as simple as that. If you're hitting above a certain level beyond you, you simply will not be able to just do anything to it, just because raw stats. That's not a negative, it's just an observation. Rune increases time stop damage, and warrior HP. Time stop is kind of okay. I mean, the damage is good. The stun duration is stupid. It's 5%. He's going to be very good. If you can get him, I think he's going to be decent. He's going to be very decent. This is the update on Hilda's spells. So the 3 seconds to 3.5 and the Spiritual Garden to 2.75%. Now, what would I recommend for this season? It depends what you want. you've got to decide: do you want the most viable, most powerful thing, or do you want something that's fun? Because Gunner is literally cookie cutter what we've seen for season after season after season of a hunter. He has a freeze. That's the difference. He's got damage steroid, which every hunter we've seen last season has. Even Quoutley had this. He's got a cloak of some form. Every dragon has had something like that. Ibreen's was flash, whatever. He's got a heal. Everything's had a healing mark or some way to heal themselves in the last couple of seasons. And he's got your standard resist. There is nothing new here. If you've got one of these dragons, you know how this is going to fly. He's just going to have a freeze on his attack. It makes him better, but if you've got your viable core and you don't think you want another hunter, just think about it, whether it's worth it for you. Hilde. This is he's going to be a fun dragon. He's not going to be viable against defended bases just because his main damage spell is red. It does per shot, does almost double what Static Blast does. And that's per shot, and one shot fires 3 of those. And he has no way to basically burst down these troublesome towers outside of relying on the Spiritual Guardian. He looks fun. He looks like he's something to run experience runs on, but that's it. Erdverd and Scald is good. Not something that everyone's going to be able to get because Mythic, and we all know how much of a pain it is to get one of those. If you can get him, and you want a fancier warrior, and you don't just want to face roll into things, and you want to actually have to think about what you're doing, get him. He's really good, and as a hunter flyer, I'm tempted to try and go and get this season. I really, really am. But anyway, that's all I've got for you today, guys. Hopefully this has helped. If you're in doubt and you're not sure what you want to get, and you definitely don't want Gunner, wait until all the dragons are out before you make a decision. Make an informed decision. Don't rush. There is no rush. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.